Hello, and welcome to week 3 of our Advent session. Today we're going to be talking about the Messiah's reign as a turn towards justice. Now, in this Advent season, when we think about Jesus coming into our world as the Messiah, one of the banners that we believe he is going to bring with him is that of justice. But what exactly is that? When I say the word justice, most of our minds may go first to the image of a courtroom with a judge, lawyers who are arguing over points of law, and a verdict that gets determined by the banging of a gavel. But that's legal justice. It's a construct of man that is designed to address the practical needs and concerns of society. However, as people of faith who don't merely live under secular law, we need to have a broader definition of justice. The Catholic Catechism actually defines justice as, and I quote, the moral virtue that consists in the constant and firm will to give their due to God and neighbor. It goes further on to say that justice is in fact the virtue of religion. So then, with a vision of justice as a deliverer of morality, we can start to broaden our view of it. Now, one of those views is that of original justice. This brings us back to the book of Genesis. In the 1500s, the Council of Trent declared that God created Adam and Eve, humanity itself, in a state of both holiness and justice. And the grace that is found in the harmony between these two concepts, as well as between these two people, is what allows us to share ultimately in the divine life. Now, next we have commutative justice. And this is the justice that obliges us to respect the rights and dignity of those around us. It's best found in the Ten Commandments. The commandments are not actually a set of legal requirements where if something is broken, then punishment is given, much as we consider our own legal system. They're actually guideposts to a life of grace. Even in Leviticus, a book that is filled with rules and rituals that were given to the Israelites to follow, we're told that our view of justice should not be rooted in the law, but rather in righteousness shall you judge your neighbor. So imagine then if we lived in a world where people followed the Ten Commandments and acted in righteousness. This would be a world without lying and cheating and murder and theft and adultery. Wouldn't we consider that a world filled with justice? Now, finally, we have social justice. And the Catechism defines that as the respect for the human person and the rights which flow from human dignity and guarantee it. Society must provide the conditions that allow people to obtain what is their due. This is a proactive justice that calls us to act. And what are the conditions that we should act upon? What is the due that people are owed? Well, I'm sure we can all agree that all of God's children deserve proper food and shelter. In that case, during this season or even beyond, you may consider taking the step of volunteering or assisting with an organization that helps to provide these conditions to people who are without them. And I'm sure you can think of many more examples. You may already be involved with them. The point is that a community, a nation, a world where all of God's people are fed and housed is a world that acts and lives with justice. Now, please note that none of what I have been saying has anything to do with the courts or legal procedures. Jesus never brought anybody to justice, certainly not in the way we consider that term. However, Jesus did bring justice to the world. And how did he do that? By taking the true meaning of justice away from the Pharisees and the scribes and the authorities and placing it into the hands of his Father. To quote Jesus in the Gospel of Luke, "And will not God bring about justice for his chosen ones, who cry out to him day and night? Will he keep putting them off? I tell you, he will see that they get justice, and quickly." My friends, we all recognize Advent as the season which is a time for preparation of the coming of Christ, as well as a season for giving. What we may not recognize is that justice is a gift we can give to the world. It's certainly a gift that Jesus has given to us. May you have a wonderful Advent season and a very Merry Christmas. Thank you.